We are almost midway to for the current political term for the Anwar administration. Many people are wondering what's next. How will the next election be, and will Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim be able to uh, get a second term as PM? Will he be able to be PM after the next election? Do you see his government being able to hold power until the 5 year term ends? And will he still be Prime Minister after the next after G60?
I think since 2018, I would consider that the voters have been, we have evolved into a very mature voters. Malaysian electorate now aware. Uh, Anwar would, I believe that will get a full term. Not because of the party themselves have no ambition to undermine the system at the moment. I think generally the public want to see some sort of political stability. They keep changing of prime minister, government, all these things. People are sick of it. So even if they are not happy with the government, they will still want to see a full term, and they will make a decision in the coming election. So for the current PH UMNO to continue to win a majority next round, it is quite important that they have to understand where their source of support coming from. They have articulate a certain vision to their voters, and their voters believe in it and support them. They must have an explanation that why that those promises, those articulation are unable to be fulfilled in this term, right? Even if they don't do it, but they must have a good reason so that people will confident with you and give you another chance. I think this is very important. I accept someone who say, oh, well, we give government longer time, reforms take time, you have conservative element that will block the reform. Okay, fine. But people will still want to know, if you don't want to do it now, when? Is it this year you don't want to do it? Last year you say very difficult to do it. Is it going to be next year? Is it going to be not doing it this term, but asking the people to give them stronger mandate so that they can continue the next term? At the moment, nobody is sure. The articulation of it is not clear. For example, we talk about we can't abolish the sedition law. Okay, is it because the conservatives in the establishment cannot accept it? Once we have a bigger power, we will remove it. Or is it because we will not remove it because we no longer believe in it? So the voter want to know, right? Which is which? If you say you no longer believe in it and you think that sedition is now necessary, then you have to go back to the same voters to explain to them, last time are very idealistic, not possible. If they agree with you, they'll vote for you the second time. Or you have to say, give us bigger seats, a lot more seats. We're actually going to do it if we have extra 20 seats. Then we don't have to depends on other parties. Yeah, which is which. At the moment, it's unclear. So that when that is not articulated, so people are getting a bit ambivalent and also upset, and there's no clear communication. Issues about press freedom. Um, we can say, okay, currently, because of the challenging ethnic tension, all these things, so we want to have a very strict no 3R, and we are trying to curtail some form of freedom of expression. Then you explain to the people why is it necessary. If is this a temporary measure, or is this something that we all have to adjust and live along with some sort of censorship, because we beg to accept what the UMNO people have been telling us. We are a multiracial society, very sensitive, anything will explode, so we need to curtail and control some part of our freedom of expression. This is not clear at the moment. So I think all these things must be cleared out if PH need to seek another mandate for uh, the second term.
Okay. Who are the possible prime ministers to be who could replace Anwar?
I that's something that I never worried about it. I mean, the same question being put to us when we were in Reformasi. When Anwar was in prison, people said, do you have a prime minister candidate if you don't want Mahathir? But I don't think that's an issue. You see, after Mahathir, we have Mahathir again, we have Ismail Sabri, we have Muhyiddin. All these are not anticipated during our Reformasi time. What we want is to see smart voters. We want to see smart political parties. Every political party must go to the people and convince them you have leaders that can be prime minister. You have leaders that not just have the charisma, but you have the leaders that have the right policies that will bring the country to better prosperity and to be able to fulfill what the people want. So I think that's a challenge for everyone. It is not just for PH to just to name another leaders that can possibly replace Anwar, but it is a challenge for UMNO, for Bersatu, for PAS, and every party to show that they are able to produce prime minister candidates.
Speaking of which, speaking of Bersatu, there has been a lot of bewilderment at how it is not able to capitalize on issues to challenge the current government. Where
Yeah.
the government has shown weaknesses in their policy making, Bersatu has largely been rather silent. Some people say the party is actually imploding, it is collapsing. I'm not sure how far that's true. How do you see it? What we can see for sure is that it doesn't play an active enough role. Uh, if Bersatu does is collapsing, and what will happen to its members? There are a lot of high flyers there from previously from UMNO. We see a lot of them having joined PKR, sort of joined PKR in the form of what they call support for the
Supporting.
prime minister. Uh, and who does that benefit if Bersatu were to collapse?
I think I'm not privy to whether Bersatu will collapse or not. To be fair, they play their role in Parliament well because you have a lot of senior leaders. In fact, PH is having difficult time to trying to fight with people like Shahidan, Hamza, and all these are very seasoned and they can memorize what's it called parliament regulation very quickly. And while PH is probably trying to catch up, so I think they are playing a very effective role and put the government in a very difficult position often. The question is whether they could offer a vision that the people want. Their limitation is again, this is my criticism of all monoethnic parties. Their vision is always limited to a certain community. If they put too much emphasis on that, the leadership also understand that they will alienate another half of the population. So they are in that dilemma. You know, they already achieved quite maximum what they can win from the Muslim voters. They haven't got a convincing story to convince the non-Muslim part of the society. But at the same time, they have not worked out how do they balance to be able to gain some non-Muslim support at the same time not losing their Muslim base. So I'm not sure whether they have worked out the way to do it or not. But I think that's probably part of the reason they look a bit awkward whenever come to public issues. I think more important now is that we need uh, both opposition that can become can become the mainstream ruling party, as well as you have ruling party that can be a good opposition because the change is going to happen very often and coalition may change. We do not know when maybe PN will join hand with PH, or PH will join hand with whoever. So that could all happen. I think the important thing now is, for for me, more important is now both opposition and the ruling parties must decide what are the common ground that they can agree upon, so that reform can happen to make a better condition for the economy in the future, right? I mean, this is something that there's no point trying to pick score point, because whatever you undermine on Anwar, it will come to your plate even if you come to power next round. So better, especially come to economic issues, both sides must come to a certain consensus to see that what are the steps that can be done to make everyone else better, even if we have a change of hand. So this is also something lacking. I have not seen the ruling party make the initiative to reach out to the opposition party, because if the hard hit economic impact come, you also want the opposition to be on your side, not to be undermined and not undermining your policy. At the same time, you also want the opposition to carry out your reform if there is a change in government. So I think all politicians must look beyond their own term, look beyond trying to score point against others, and that to me is the way forward.
Is it possible after the next general election will come from UMNO rather than Bersatu or PAS?
I think the door is open now, wide open. It will be coming. It could come from any parties. It would be, you will be surprised. Maybe it will even come from the East Malaysia. But we never know. But I think finally is whoever, which the constitution say, command the majority support. The command of majority support may not be just purely by numbers of the party. The numerical strength may not be the only criteria. The command of the majority in the house may come from whoever had the vision that everyone can share. So that's a challenge for any aspiring prime minister in the future. They have to start working hard and to offer something that the the people from all different political parties can agree upon and can share. So that will that is the future prime minister that I want to see.
The thing is that lastly, the thing is that there is not much positive talk about Anwar holding on to the post of prime minister after the next general election. Why do you think is that? What were his mistakes? What are his mistakes? Uh,
Um, I don't. I mean, he haven't finished his term yet, so we can't say it's a mistake. I think people enjoying democracy, enjoying freedom, they tend to be impatient, right? I mean, so I think people cannot complain. Voters are impatient. That is normal, because you have a democratic situation. People are impatient. Now we see younger generation of young people. They are impatient. They want to think. They want things now. They are trained by their communication equipment to one thing instantaneously. Last time we write a letter, we expect 2 months time to get a reply. Now we send a WhatsApp message up, we expect the next 5 minutes we get a response. So this is normal. So whichever government that come to power must understand that people are demanding. People want it fast. People want to see effect. So if you cannot do that, you must be having an effective communication strategy to tell people that yes, I cannot, I agree with you, but I cannot give you now, right? You have to convince that you can no longer expect people naturally to be saying that we give you times because we give Barisan National 60 years and therefore you get another 60 years. No, in the current situation, people want it now. Okay, you cannot blame them. If you cannot deliver it now, you have to explain to them either your demand is unrealistic or you will get it later.
Thank you so much, YB.